Okay, let's go ahead and get started there, everybody. Although, let me get the screen up here real quick. Apparently, it doesn't really want to be showing. Uh, yeah, there we go. Okay, let's get ahead and get started on all of this. Okay, so welcome back to another. Well, it's a little bit late for a 1 p.m. PST YouTube stream, but you know, it's close. But I'm your host, Strange Pro Jim. Um, Today, we're going to be getting back into our Pega certification. We got one last task to go with. Then maybe tomorrow I will go through that one last challenge again, see if like maybe they opened it up a little bit so that I can actually finish it properly. But I kind of doubt it. Again, I haven't received any uh, recent emails concerning uh, anything new, so they are probably like full swing trying to get everything in 23 ready. So it's probably not helping me out with 8.7 is probably not uh, on their list of things to do. Which I mean, in some ways, I can't really blame them. They're probably trying to tackle everything that is coming in concerning their 23. So, um, their 23 version. Um, so we'll see about that. We got some videos, or we'll probably have like a little bit of a discussion after that. Um, and then or just chatting. I don't think I have any videos to be released right at this moment in time, which is kind of bad of me because I think I have some videos that need to be uploaded and processed. Whatever. I'll deal with that when the time comes. And then later on today we got some more Warframe, which I will see about trying to test whether or not creator mode can actually block a copyrighted song from them or not. I kind of doubt it, but we'll see. Um, we'll find out when the time comes. So um, let's obviously get into the uh, Pega content here. Especially for those of you that are trying to get, trying to work on your Pega certification yourself. Um, So who am I? What am I doing with these videos? What you should kind of expect from the videos, so on and so forth. So I'm currently an unemployed software developer whose last job was working with a Pega environment. My intention is to, you know, I finally pushed myself all the way through the Pega Academy mission for the system architect, and we're getting close to just trying to do some additional studies to try to remember everything so that when I do sign up for the certification test, then I will be able to pass it with, you know, with what they need and be able to put that on my resume so that I can start applying for Pega jobs that are looking specifically for people with that certification. Um, I haven't really looked into um, jobs in the Pega environment because I fear that most of them are probably looking for certifications. They're not going to be looking to pay a person to study it and get pay for the certification themselves. That's hardly a thing nowadays, or at least um, it's been my experience that mentorship has pretty much gone out the window. Um, uh, which has been quite unfortunate. I hope that that changes. I hope that reverts back to the way it was, where people would actually train new hires in the ways of the business, and you know, and pay them well enough that they actually want to stay with the company. But nowadays, companies seem to look at the people within the company as mere products or cogs in their machine, and they consider the cars replaceable, and that's a really ugly way of looking at business. Um, because when you think about it, when you have people thinking that they are cogs in a wheel, that they don't really matter all that much, then they're not really going to put in a whole lot of effort, right? They're not really going to care about the business. They're not going to give a damn about it. They're going to want to come in, do the work, get a paycheck, go home and do what they really want to do. Okay, that's what's been kind of going on nowadays. Um, there's no sense of loyalty anymore when you have a company that is sending jobs overseas, or doing layoffs when they themselves are raking in billions. So um, you know, loyalty has definitely gone downhill. Um, and believe me, I know, I've been there. Um, I'm one of those individuals. I want to work, but I mean, if I don't get any kind of loyalty from the place that I work at, then how can I give loyalty back? You know. Um, Now, I'm hoping that I can find some place that wants to treat me decently. But I haven't found it yet. Um, who knows? Maybe I never will. That's the unfortunate thing about this. Sometimes your best job might not necessarily be one that you will ever find. Maybe it's in a different state. Maybe it's in a different nation. Who knows? Um, one shouldn't. Uh, you know, it's um, so if you don't, in my opinion, if the company doesn't feel like treating you like a human being, you know, then it might not be the best place to be. You know, if they're like, hey, that bonus that we were talking about giving you guys? Well, here's a pizza party instead. Maybe that's not exactly the best place to be at. You know, if it's like, hey, those bonuses, well, yeah, those are going to our shareholders. Yeah, it's a bit rough. Whatever. Um, well, my goal is system architect, right? Um, so I have just one more test to do. I have another challenge that has some difficulty in getting it completed. And then technically my Pega Academy process would be technically done. So, I mean, I could probably try to go for the certification like tomorrow, but at the same time, I don't feel ready for it myself, right? Um, Now, obviously, the challenges, they don't really matter for the certification. Okay, you don't have to worry about the challenges for the certification. It doesn't matter. Okay, you will need to know those challenges when the time comes when you actually get a job, though. Okay, they're going to expect you to know how to go about doing those kind of steps in order to get the job done, right? Um, but um, here's the thing. Um, you just need to know the topics, the modules, and module quizzes. You can't memorize them though. Okay, just bear that in mind. You cannot memorize those quizzes, those module quizzes. You can't memorize those. Okay, because those questions are not going to be on the certification test, or at least not in that exact fashion. Okay, they're going to be changing it up on you. Okay, they're going to be changing it around. They're going to be adding questions in there that are potentially trick questions. So, and there's some questions in there that I wonder, did they even study, or did they even, you know, um, confirm that this is actually correct in some cases? I don't know. It it feels it sometimes feels like, the questions that I see aren't even using the topics at all. I see answers in the topics that are completely contradicting what they put in the questions and the answers and stuff like that. So I don't know. It it's weird. Um, and you're going to be fighting against that in the certification test, by the way. You know. So, but um, you know, my last job, we got an authorized training partner. He wasn't really doing a great job for me and like 20 others that were put under his particular care when he was trying to teach us Pega Academy. Pretty much all of us, if not, and if not all of us, went self-study. We were not happy with his teaching style. Um, we let, you know, other managers know about it. Um, we saw, test givers that were, saying, hey, here's some questions that you need to answer. They saw it themselves that he was messing up. Some of us asked to be put back into another training cycle with a different authorized training partner to learn Pega, but that was rejected. So the one and only time that I did take the certification, I was not prepared for it, or not fully prepared for it. I had only gotten through like probably half of the my self-study in Pega before they forced it upon me. I failed it. I knew that I was going to fail it. I told them that I was going to fail it, but they said either take it now or we're going to lay you off. So I took it. I failed it. And I'm like, okay, put me back into a training cycle. No, it's like, okay, well, what are you gonna do? Um, so my fault is the fact that I didn't continue the self study afterwards. Okay, that was my failure. Okay, I did kind of wish that I had some mentorship when I got pushed into a contract afterwards, to help me get the certification afterwards, but that didn't really happen either. So, um, but when it comes right down to it, the buck falls on me for not putting in my own time, you know, to you know, try to get that certification. Okay. Um, but I'm not an authorized training partner. This is not meant for an instructor-led training, so just bear that in mind. Um, I'm working towards the certification much like anybody else that's starting out in Pega. So just please bear that in mind. Okay. I will try to answer any kind of questions that you may have about the Pega environment. Any kind of programming questions you have about it, any kind of business analyst work, or questions about that. But obviously, my main focus is trying to get the system architect certification. So that's where I want to, that's the certification that I want to get out of this job, or out of this study session. Um, that's what I want to get so that I can put it on my resume, so that I can get a job, or at least apply for other jobs, that actually requires those certifications. Okay. Now, again, if you are coming into these streams, into these videos, and you are interested in the business architect, sorry to say, I'm pretty much, I'm nearly done with the system architect. I've been done with the business architect portion of the Pega certification for a while now. I would recommend that you go back to my playlist. Excuse me. Go back to my playlist. The two missions and two modules for 8.7 are all there. Okay. Every single last topic, every single last challenge, they're all there in order, you know, starting from the very first topic in the first mission all the way to these last two modules that cover the Pega Express delivery. Okay, so if you're interested in getting the business architect certification, go through the playlist and try to and go through everything there, and you'll and just kind of follow along. Now, obviously, you'll probably want to go with the 23, which is totally understandable. But just bear in mind that some things change over time, but there might be people that you are going to be talking with that have a Pega certification of 8.7 that you're going to need to speak with. So you're going to need to know, what their knowledge level versus what you have too. So just bear in mind that it's not bad learning from previous Pega certifications, okay, or previous Pega levels, because um, when I took the certification for 8.6, I was seeing Pega 7 questions in the certification test itself. Okay, there were keywords in the 8.6 certification that had keywords from Pega 7, and I'm like, I've never seen these keywords before. What are they? Okay, and unfortunately, our particular authorized training partner never mentioned that to us. So that's just another reason why I was having a hard time with the authorized training partner. These two modules, they are supposed to cover, the Pega Express delivery, but I don't feel like that covers enough. So if you want the business architect certification, then you'll probably want to go over the Pega Express delivery mission yourself, study through it, learn as much as you can, because this is 12% of your certification test. Okay, they're going to be asking 12%, the questions, you know, concerning the Pega Express. And I don't feel like these two modules covers enough of it. So do yourself a favor, go through the Pega Express delivery, learn as much as you can about it. Okay. Now, just to kind of give you guys a little bit of additional information here. Okay. If you're like maybe coming into this for the very first time, they're like seeing this video for some reason, just out of the blue. Um, the system architect is typically designed for people that actually have a computer science background, people that do programming for a background, Java, C, um, SQL, whatever. This is typically aligned with those type of individuals with that kind of mental, logistical, um, logistical minds. Okay. The business architect is kind of more designed for people that can um, they're kind of like the uh, individuals between the programmers and the salesman, or business, you know, uh, marketing, or whatnot. Okay, basically they find out what the people in sales, the CSRs, whatever, whatever business that you're a part of. They basically talk with those individuals. Maybe it's like finance department, whatever. Okay, they find out what is needed from them, and then they try to build something initially, like a flowchart or something along those lines. They're basically saying, okay, let's kind of put it into some form of what we may look, what we may want to do with it. Okay, and then we hand it on over to the programmers to make sure that it works the way it needs to, the intention of it. Okay, so basically the business architect is the middleman between the programmers and those that are in like marketing and whatnot. Okay, they talk with the marketers, they get the information from those particular departments, figure out what is needed. They then convert it into something that programmers can then use on the system architect side of things. Okay, and the programmers kind of continue working on what's necessary. Helping like work on the databases. Working on the variables, working on just the code itself. So um, so if maybe um, like this is a good position. Like if you can, in a sense, you might not, if you're not like um, completely knowledgeable about programming, for example, like you're struggling with programming, you don't know exactly what's going on with it. Um, but you also kind of struggle with like marketing or something like that. Like you might not be the best in terms of marketing. You might kind of struggle at that like fully, like you're not like the best or something along those lines. But here's the thing, if you can explain both sides, like if you can explain to a programmer like what the market and what marketing wants, and then you can explain to the marketers what the programmers need, then business architect might be a really good position for you if you're so inclined. So consider that if you want to, you know. Um, if you're looking for something that, you know, um, you might be interested in, you know, getting a job with, and you can handle communication in that sense, um, then business architect might be um, the next, it might be a good place for you to start, just saying. Okay, so, um, system architect. Oh, the reason why I don't really want to do business architect is that I really don't feel like I could do any kind of like, I, I'm very introverted. I don't feel like I could like get up in front of a crowd and talk with like, people that are extroverted like all the time. I don't feel like I can even discuss things with, people that are extroverted a lot. um, and, while I might not be like the best programmer out there, okay, um, it's still something that I enjoy doing. So that's why the system architect appeals to me. Okay, so that's just a little bit of, an idea as to a little bit more as to what I am. So, okay, so we got the system architect mission test here. We got 60 questions, an hour and 30 minutes, passing score of 80%. Okay. There's also the challenge that I still haven't finished because the instance isn't allowing any kind of uploads into the challenge at all. I sent them an email concerning it. I haven't received any information back about it, so I don't know where that's gonna go. If they're even doing anything with it, I don't know. Um, but it's not taking the file that I changed for the Spanish, um, and I officially can't finish the challenge unless I see the translation in action on this challenge, which obviously is not happening. So, um, so after I get done with the mission test down below, then I will try to do the challenge once again. That's probably going to happen tomorrow or the next day. I don't know exactly when, but we'll try to do this one last time. If it still doesn't go through, then I'm just going to mark it as complete and move on. Now, ideally, you know, they should state that, they instead of this whole mark as complete, they should have that testing parameters that they did, in the other two missions. For some reason, the system architect, like the low code app builder and low code app builder extended, their challenges were fantastic because when you tested, when you ran a test at the very end, it would actually go through an actual test. It would go through a test suite to make sure that, what you did matches with what they're expecting. And if everything matches up, then it says you did a good job. Congratulations, we approve, right? You don't get that in the system architect. Since the very first challenge here, they basically say, "Hey, is it good? Are you sure about it? Okay, well, you can mark it complete. We don't really care." And it's like, it's like, come on, guys. What happened to to your test suites that you had, for the mission, for the past two missions here? But oh, you know, not much I can do about that. Um, so if I can't get the localizing the UI form to work properly, then I'll just mark it as complete, and we will have our, you know, token granted to us and stuff like that. So here's the thing about the mission test. Okay. The mission test is pretty much the same as the module quiz. Okay. They will give you a question. They will provide you some answers for you to select. And then what they do is they give you a feedback button. Okay. And they say, hey, you can get feedback right then and there as to whether or not the question is, what you answered is correct. You're not going to get that on the certification. Okay. So therefore, there is the potential that you are going to run the test and, you're probably gonna, collect some wrong answers here and there, but the feedback might prevent you from, you know, failing those questions outright, right? Um, well, that's a problem for the certification because you don't get that feedback in the certification. Okay, you're gonna need to know those questions when you get to the certification itself. Okay, so you're gonna need to know, you know, what they're asking for, and how to go about answering it. Because if you don't answer it correctly, you're going to get that question wrong. And too many questions wrong will obviously put you below the 65% necessary to pass the certification. So, so just bear that in mind. So, the other rough side of this is the fact that the system architect mission test will go through everything. Okay. Now, it will go through everything that we've covered so far here in the, system architect mission, but it will also cover the low-code app builder and the low-code app builder extended, because technically these are also a part of the full-on mission as well. Okay, so you are probably going to be seeing questions from the low-code app builder and low-code app builder extended in the final mission test for the system architect. Okay. Um, so, and last but not least, okay, they reuse questions in the system architect mission test. Okay. They reuse the questions from all the modules that you've covered, all the module quizzes that you've covered. They reuse questions. Okay, so you're going to be seeing repeating questions in the mission test. They just, you know, I don't know why they do it, but again, at the same time, uh, as a programmer, I can also kind of understand it as well. They want to try to make things as easy for them as they possibly can, right? They don't necessarily want to be, making up new questions, right? Why make up new questions when we can just reuse the old ones? Well, that's not the point. The point is trying to make sure that the person taking the test knows the material, you know, not memorizing the question. Memorizing the question does nothing for the test taker. Okay, because when you get to the certification, those questions are completely different than what you'll be seeing in the mission test. Okay, there won't be any repeat questions in the certification. Just bear that in mind. Okay, so be aware. You are going to be, um, you know, uh, the mission test and the certification test will not match. Okay, in terms of questions and answers. Okay, that's why I stress the fact that you need to know the material, not the questions, or not the, you don't want to memorize the questions and the answers. You want to memorize the material, the topics, everything that kind of comes in those, because, obviously you're going to be needing to take that, into the workforce. So enough talking. I've talked quite a bit. Let's go ahead and get into the mission test, shall we? Hour and 30 minutes. That'll put me around 3:40. So if I don't get it done by around 3:40, then well, I'll fail. They don't give you a timer, by the way. They don't provide a timer for the 1 hour and 30 minutes for this. So I have to pass with a score of 80%. So so we'll see what happens. Let's get started. Business analyst uses blank to design a process for seat booking as part of the airline reservations case type. A blank then extends the scope of the flow rule to use across the entire travel application in blank. The blank can now reuse the process in blank to make bus or train ticket seat reservations. Okay. Okay, so apparently we have two app studios here. So So everything is used once, but a business analyst uses App Studio to design a process. A blank then extends the scope of the flow rule to use across the entire travel application. And blank, probably a system architect. Business analyst can now reuse the process in App Studio. I believe that's correct. Yeah. Which two features does the assertion marker provide for test scenarios? They never talked about the assertion marker. And that's the unfortunate part about this now, is the fact that they never talked about it. So, but we've seen this before. I just need to remember exactly what the two answers were on it. This is a repeat question, so provide logic to skip the step when appropriate, and um, um, add wait time following an action in UI element. No, I don't think it was skipping a step. I think it was create a validation rule. Yeah. They still haven't answered me on that one either. The record for blank allows for the authentication of a user. The blank references one or more. Um, blank grant access to specific functionalities within an application. Each identifies one or more blank. Blank are associated with a set of permissions. Oh boy. Okay. This question was asked before as well. Record for the blank allows for the authentication of a user. The blank references one or more. Access roles. Access roles. Let's see. I think I'm messing up on this one already. I don't think this is correct. Yeah, I'm messing up here. Okay. Scripts grant access to specific functionalities within an application, and each one identifies one or more. It's either access roles or operator IDs. Kind of leaning more towards access roles on that one. Operator ID. operator record, and then access groups. Yeah, I think that might be right. Okay, moving on. Okay, user navigates the list by using the keyboard instead of a mouse. Assistive device guides the user to a search field. A screen reader describes the field to a user. We had a problem with this one before. Um, helper text. Maybe enter event and landmark rule. Okay. Which two scenarios would you set default property values? Okay. Customer receives a suggested product based on recent product search history. Developer uses process customer data to run developer tests. Assignment is automatically assigned to a default work queue for the consulting team. Arrival day and departure day for hotel reservation is equal to today and tomorrow, respectively. Those seem like default property values to me. You don't, this doesn't work. I don't think that one works, so, okay, apparently not the third one. Okay. Okay, I would have gotten that question wrong. I mean, it's, already I'm struggling on this because I'm getting a couple questions wrong, and that's not helpful, obviously. If I'm trying to get for 65% and I'm already missed what, two questions initially, that's not good. That's not good based off of the averages here. Um, Cosmos switch of the following contains the most critical information about a case. Uh, is it in the summary panel? Yeah. What is the default responsive behavior for tables? Was column for tables displayed on mobile phones? Tables with more than 4 columns are not displayed on smaller devices. Rightmost column is automatically designated as the default column. Leftmost column is automatically designed the primary column. I believe that one's the case. Yeah. Okay. The U Plus banking application uses a decision table to recommend the account based on customer responses in the account selection form. What account type would the application recommend for a 19-year-old high school graduate who plans to accrue savings and have a large daily balance? Okay, so first off, um, they're not under the age, and they're not under, you know, 19 years. Ooh, but the problem with this is that it doesn't say like are they looking for 19 include and being included or not. That's my problem with this kind of description here. Is 19 included or no? So um, they're not a senior, so So that's not true. So um, they're not a student anymore. Um, so it looks to be like we want a savings plus in this particular case. Okay, because they want to accrue savings. You know, they're not a senior. Um, they're not a student. You know, but at the same time, they are 19 years. But the fact that they talk about the large daily balance kind of leads me to believe this one. Like, this one is, you know, 19 being not within that scope. Like, it has to be like 18 years or younger kind of thing. 18 included and younger. So 19 wouldn't necessarily be included, so therefore the student's savings wouldn't really matter. So that's why I feel like savings plus is probably what they're looking for, and yep, that was correct. Okay. Um, okay, so they're not including they're not including 19 as a parameter there. But this is one of those problems where it's like, you look at this and you're like, which way are they talking about here? You know, um, sometimes it's really helpful when you have the greater than or and equal sign next to each other, saying like it's both, kind of thing. But oh well. What is the purpose of accessibility roles? Provide parental controls to enable parents to control access to the application by their children, and that no. Prevent access by unauthorized personnel. Not really. Enable application use on all software platforms. I mean, not really. Provide enhanced interface support for users requiring assistance. That's the one that I'm kind of looking for. There we go. Which of the following is a specific advantage for Pega Cosmos? Pega Cosmos embraces modular design, which I believe is the correct answer. Pega Cosmos is used for a single business context. No. Pega Cosmos is designed so that users can interact with business objects on multiple tabs. I don't think that really matters. Pega Cosmos focuses primarily on B2C use cases. I don't remember what B2C is. So I'm still kind of leaning towards modular design, and yep, that's it. Case type allows customers to specify a paint color and finish for a painting cost estimate, which configuration prevents users from entering an invalid combination of colors and finishes on a form. Um, okay. Um, oh gosh, I can never really remember these very well. I know that they're very important, but I just can never really remember like the distinction between them very well. Um, decision rule to test and that would be way too many tests for a decision rule. Create a validate rule to test a combination of color and finish. Again, I think that that's a little too much. Um, I think it's the configure and edit validate rule. Because it's not a pick list, because that would be way too many combinations for them to even consider. I think it's the edit validate rule, which apparently I was incorrect. Edit validate rules are used to test whether input in a field matches a required pattern. Okay. Um, hmm. Okay. I guess it's the validate rule. I don't remember. I've seen that question before. I just can't remember the exact answer for it. And I can never remember like the distinction between them, so I've always struggled with that one. Which scenario describes the type of information that is stored in the PY work page? Um, List of available properties in the greater Boston metro area that is cached from the realtor's database. I don't think that's correct. The access group for the customer service representative who's currently logged into the application. I don't think that's the case. Information about the external storage provider for the Ubank application. Um, no. Oh boy. Okay. Date and time. No. The work page includes everything from the case type. So um, which maybe. It's not the access groups. That doesn't matter for the PY work page. I don't see why that's a thing. I don't think it's from a realtor's database. I don't think that's part of the PY work page. I feel like it's this one, and I was wrong. Okay. Um, this doesn't work. That one doesn't work. So it has to be that other one then. Damn it. Customers can track online orders by entering an order tracking number and clicking a button that is labeled Track It. In this example, tracking number is a blank and the track it button is a blank. Okay. There's a field and there's a control. Yeah. Which two situations are appropriate for implementing field level auditing? Um, I don't remember them really going over this one either very well. In a mortgage application, you want to maintain a history of all changes to the loan amount as the case progresses through the life cycle. I don't think that's field level auditing. An insurance application, you want to know who adjusted the insurance coverage level. I believe that's something that you're going to want to keep in terms of auditing. In a customer service application, you want to know if a new compliance case has been created. I don't know if that's auditing. In a booking application, you want to know why the customer changed their hotel reservation dates. I think those two. Nope, never mind. Okay, not the fourth answer. Um, and again, that would be, a failed answer. Obviously, that would be an incorrect answer. So obviously, I'm not doing too well on this test right at this moment in time. But then again, that's kind of my fault as well. Um, um, I don't think this has anything to do with field level auditing, so I'm thinking of the first one. Okay, so two statements about rules are correct. Each time you change a rule, you have to rename it. No. It's best to create all your rules in Dev Studio manually. Um, I think that they say that that's correct, but I don't think that is, you know, I don't think that's really the case because sometimes rules are created, automatically. So rules are automatically updated when you make a change in App Studio. Rules created in Dev Studio can be made available to users in App Studio. No. I mean, you can. Oh gosh. I'm kind of leaning more towards this one here. Um, but at the same time, I mean, they are updated in a way, but at the same time, I've seen it kind of happen where the rules still kind of remain rigid as well. So like, you change one and it still holds like the old way of the rules as well. So I don't know. Rules created in Dev Studio can be made available to users in App Studio. I don't think this is the case. Okay, try and feedback. Oh, well, okay. Well, the second one is wrong, so okay, well, it has to be those two. It can't be that first one. You don't have to rename it when you change a rule, so fuck. In which of the following situations do you simulate a data source for a data view? Um, um, when performance testing and integration, when an interface between an application and an external data provider is not finalized. I mean, that might be okay, but when you want to simulate a large amount of data, I mean, you might not be able to do that anyway when a data page writes data to an external system. No, I think it's the second one. Yeah. Which two items are required for the configuration setting? All users must receive access to configuration sets. I don't think that's the case. You must know the name for each user who needs access. I don't think that's the case. You must select the include a search checkbox in the relevant Pega configuration class. Okay. There must be an existing configuration set. Um, yeah, there must be an existing configuration set. That's true. I don't think you need to know the name of each user who needs access. Um, you could probably just give it to a group and that should be fine. All users must receive access to configuration sets. I don't know if you really need to have all users, but I think this is actually one of their answers, which is making me hesitant about this one. God damn it. Should have kept with my initial thought line. Oh well. You can use fields to localize blank and blank. Okay. To localize. Hmm. think those two? No, okay. Okay, I'm just gonna pick those two. Fuck, I'm messing up too badly on this one. Okay, you want to configure a view that features two panels of information, coverage selection and selected coverage overview. The view mockup is included above. The content of both panels automatically wraps based on screen size. How do you achieve this configuration? Um, oh right, this one's like the really kind of fucked up one, I think. I've seen this one before. You don't want that one. You don't want this one. Um, I think it's the first one here. For layout groups with within a stacked layout group. Well, and then again, maybe not. Okay, well, it's like one of those first two. God damn it, I don't really remember. Customer service representative must respond to emails within 24 hours, otherwise the assignment is considered late and urgency increases by 20. For every additional 6 hours that the CSR does not respond, the CSR's manager is notified and the urgency increases by 20. If the case reaches an assignment at 4 p.m. Tuesday and assignment starts with an urgency 10, which is assignment urgency at 1 p.m. Thursday. So Um, so at 4 p.m. Tuesday is, already past the 24-hour mark, right? So the assignment is considered late and urgency increases by 20. That puts it at 30. Um, for every 6 additional hours and the CSR does not respond, so 10 p.m. Wednesday, the CSR's manager is notified and urgency increases by 20 again, so that leaves it at 50, right? So then at 4 a.m., um, it increases by 20 again. 4 a.m. Thursday, so that puts it at 70. Then it goes till 10 a.m. Thursday. So that puts it at 90. Um, but it happens right before the next 6 hours, so it would be 90. Yeah. Create a test case for a decision table and verify the results. A few weeks later, another developer runs the test again, and the test fails. Chances to which two of the following configurations can cause this result. Um, hmm. Page containing decision table input properties and um, import properties used in the decision table. Okay, well, apparently not the page containing the decision table input properties. I mean, the user shouldn't matter, on who runs the unit test or not. So I don't see how that would play out. And I mean, yes, the return values used in a decision table would be kind of different based off of the input properties, but I mean, I don't know. It seems like that would be kind of a given, but you know, whatever. Okay. Your application requires a cascading approval for expense reports. Approvals must follow the submitter's reporting structure with the following thresholds. The manager must approve expense reports 500 or less, director 15 or less, or vice president for 15 or higher. How do you configure the approval process? Select the authority matrix configuration option. That sounds about right. Select the reporting structure configuration with custom levels, then configure a decision table to determine the number of levels. I don't think that's really necessary. Select the reporting structure configuration, then select all levels. I don't think that's necessary. Select the reporting structure configuration with custom levels, then configure win rules to determine the number of levels. Yeah, no, I think it's the authority matrix, and which is wrong. God damn it. Ah. Authority matrix is not used for approvals that follow a user's reporting structure. Okay. Okay. Well, I don't think it's all levels because you're um, because I think this is like you don't necessarily want the vice president to be handling express reports of 500 or less. So I don't think that's the case. Select the reporting structure configuration with custom levels, then configure win rules to determine the number of levels. So it's either win rules or the decision table. Um, I think it falls under the decision table. I just not remembering this. Hey there, Roblox. How you doing? For which requirement must you configure a validate rule in Dev Studio? Um, Temp sheet submitted by a consultant assigned to a client project must be reviewed by an auditor. Now, the amount of transfer between accounts must be greater than zero, less than available balance for the originating account. No, I don't think that's really the case. Could you hold the question for later, the Roblox, like in about 45 minutes or so? Then I'll try to answer your question then, if you're okay with that. An email address is required for a case to enter approval stage. No. Value of the day of service field must be no more than 15 days for a critical issue and up to 60 days in the future for an issue with a low priority. Um, hmm, I don't know which one of these would really work for this. Nope. Okay. The care service case has a trial case that manages the hospital intake questionnaire. The patient can self-identify symptoms from a list of possible symptoms in trial case. I'm not doing well there, folks. It doesn't look good for me. Selected symptoms are copied over to the parent case with the status of unconfirmed. In the parent case, the physician can update the symptoms that are listed and their associated status. Which two configurations would be part of the selected symptoms data transform? Set the status of each copied symptom equal to unconfirmed. Create a new property for each selected symptom and copy the properties to the parent case. Remove unselected symptoms from the source of possible symptoms. Iterate over the list of possible symptoms and copy the entries that the patient selected during intake. Let's see. I think it's those two. God damn it. Which of the following options best describes the benefit of unit testing rules? I've been really messing up a lot there, folks. I'm sorry about that. But I haven't really been studying nearly as much as I really should be. Which of the following options best describes the benefit of unit testing rules? Unit testing identifies configuration issues that might impact application performance on a production system. Unit testing validates a rule configuration to ensure that any dependent rules are available to the application. Unit testing validates information that must be provided before the rule can be saved. Unit testing identifies configuration issues that propagate to other rules with potentially serious consequences. Uh, um, I don't know if this is correct. It's not. No. No. So it has to be this one. Okay. Consider the requirement for approvals of change request for a consulting project. Use the criteria in the table to configure a process for running in case they're the correct party. Based on the images above, select the two parties that must approve the change request. Choose two. Scope increased? Yes. So project manager. Contract change? No. So not an executive, not legal, and the CFO. Now, that's an easy one to deal with. Which rule is used to store the labels, messages, and other text strings that require translation? Um, I don't know. I don't know that one. Select the 3 correct unit test best practices for the choices available. Before you save the unit test, ensure that you have access to dedicated rule set configured to store test cases. Um, okay. From the unit testing landing page, create test suites to run one or more test cases same time in a designated order. Okay. From the unit test landing page, view the status of each test case based on the last execution. Before you save the unit test, ensure that you do not define expected results and indicate a successful unit test. Okay, before you save the unit test, ensure that you have access to any rule set that allow easy application migration. I don't think that really matters. I think it's these 3. Yeah. In which use case do you configure an authority matrix with the decision table? Let's see. Manager request for employee salary increase is read. VP to approval of pay rate increase 5% depending on. No. No. I think it's this one. Nope. Okay. VP is in the same department as the manager and employee. You do not need to use an authority matrix. It's like. Guess this one. Because it's not this one because it's not pushing it up to a, you know, 30 matrix is meant to kind of push it up to like, the higher authorities, right? So this doesn't really work. This one doesn't really work. So so it had to been either one of these 2. So that's why I was kind of thinking it was that 3rd one at first, but which 2 statements describe the security checklist featured in Pega platform? Choose 2. They didn't really go over this very well, I think. Tracks the status of security tasks and overall completion. I don't think that was the necessary for the security checklist, so I don't think it shows the compliance score. I believe this one. I don't think it's that first one, so I'm now kind of leaning back to the 4th right at this moment in time. So, because they're saying like all required, which again, I've always been very cautious about whenever someone says all or, never needed or, something along those lines. So, yeah. What is the best practice for avoiding accidental overwrites when referencing an auto-populated property? Um, Auto-populate a property by copying data from a data page. Auto-populate the property by referring to the data page. Don't really want to refer to it, because when you change something that is potentially being referred from, then it might actually change the value from there. You wanted to kind of copy the data from it, so yeah. From the right, drag the run option to the blank rectangle next to the appropriate scenario. Okay, so far I'm a little behind, I feel like. Route job requisition approval to a reporting manager, the senior manager, and then director. Route supporting requests for customers whose preferred language is Spanish to customer service representatives who speak Spanish. Route an employee evaluation to a direct manager. Route an expense report to the department manager when expenses exceed $1,000. Um, I think that one. Don't think you really need a reporting structure for that. You can use one approver and the reporting structure on that one, and then custom approvals. Yeah. Drag each inheritance type to the appropriate description of rule inheritance. Oh, I forgot about this one. Oh, fuck. I don't remember this at all. Okay, let's think about this. So what was it? Directed came from base class, or was it from previous other like links to it? And then pattern was kind of coming from the base class. I think pattern was coming from the base class, if I'm not mistaken. So, um, I think that's directed. I think that's directed. I think this is pattern. Oh, well, got them reversed apparently. Okay. Um, so that's directed, that's directed, that's pattern, that's pattern. Okay. Yeah, that would have been a complete failure on the certification. Which following statements is true about device preview? Not quite sure about device preview. Don't remember that at all. You still must test applications on actual devices. Device preview is available only for completed applications. No. Device preview is a Pega platform add-on. No. Only preview options available for default options. Um, I gotta sneeze, pardon me. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Um, I don't think it's for, device preview. No, you can do that, at any time. You click on preview, you can select, whatever device that you want. So completed applications, no. Device preview is in the Pega platform add-on. No, you can do it at any particular time. The only preview options available are default options, which I don't think is correct either. So this is the only one that I can think is the correct answer. And yeah, okay. So, you can still preview it on, you know, device representations, but it's better to make sure that it actually works on said devices. So each week, a customer receives a notification if they have unused discounts near the expiration date. Before submitting a purchase order, a customer receives a recommended shipping type based on product availability and fulfillment warehouse location. Sounds like a win condition. 2 weeks after application is submitted, the hiring manager is notified if candidate has not received a minimum number of interviews. I believe that's a win condition. When booking a flight or hotel, a customer receives a notification about an available vacation package based on the type of booking and location. I think that is also a win condition. And then that's probably a decision table. Okay, well, so these are decision tables, and that is a win condition. So I'm not doing well there, folks. You want to configure a view when customers browse foreign purchase books. Title, image of cover, price, rating, and other details of each book displayed in the view. To achieve this configuration, um, let's see. Uh, you don't want to use a tab. You don't want to. I mean, you could technically use a table layout. Um, but I mean, you would feel like you'd want more of a repeating dynamic layout, right? So yeah. Job recruiter is screening candidates to assess their qualifications. Recruiter determines whether a candidate matches target position, matches a different position, company, or does not match any position. Decision table based on the recruiter's feedback automatically advances the case through the appropriate connector. Select a position, target position, or reject. Which are the two configurations when used together in the decision table meet this requirement. Um, seen this before, obviously, so Okay. Yep, okay. Which requirement can you satisfy by creating a new work queue? I'd want to talk about this more, but I don't really have a whole lot of time, unfortunately. So I need to kind of make sure that I keep on moving forward because, they don't give you a whole lot of time to really talk about this, you know. So which requirement can you satisfy by creating a new work queue? Um, um, request for information from policy renewals can be processed by coverage changes assigned to members of special ed team or underwriters. Users can access secondary view with additional information, but other users can access the secondary view. I think it's the third one there. Yeah. Which three items are best practices for unit tests? Okay. Here we go again. No, not frequent changes. Tests that require rules with wide usage across the application at high priority to configure. Yes. Unit test development should occur after the application is released. No. So it has to be those other two. So maximize rule test coverage and include enough tests to cover all input and output combinations. Sure. It is high priority to create unit tests for rules that have predictable results. Yes. So. Okay. Drag the description to the correct image on the left. Okay. Well, roadside assistance case when a user adds a new payment type to the payment types field group list changes right in the case art tab field history. Uh, from credit card to cash. From credit card to cash. Changes right in the case art tab field history. And user adds a new payment type to payment types. The changes right. Um, oh wait. No, that's user adds new payment type, and the user changes based off of the payment types field group list, and then that one is there. Okay, there we go. Fixed it. I was looking at it, I'm like going, wait, that's not looking right. Okay, we're kind of on track, but I feel like I'm feeling a little behind still. I have 30 more minutes left on this, and I have 20 more questions left. So Drag the words to the correct boxes. Confirms the identity of the user and verifies the user is allowed access to the application. Determines what data the users can view and what actions the user can perform. So authentication and authorization. So there you go. Layout groups help developers design a user interface that is optimized based on the amount of information you want to present. Layout groups organize and group fields into panels. There we go. Which two of the following options describe modular design? Describe presentation layer with information architecture, interactions, accessibility, and data visualizations. Maybe building on a series of components to create models of an application prior to launch. Not really. An approach that allows users to learn the meaning of discrete elements on the screen so that they can be reused in multiple contexts. Again, maybe application building development environment that uses graphical user interfaces. Designed for more than one screen, such as mobile or desktop, to allow for functional essentials of the system to work properly. I believe that is part of modular design. Let's check it out. Well, not the first one, apparently. Okay. I think it's the third one. If it's not the first one, then I feel like it's the third, but we'll find out. When unit testing a rule, you use a data transform during the test. What does data transform do? Provides initial values for properties used in rule evaluation, records the results of the unit test, which no. Distinguish the test data from other pages in memory. No. Copies test results to clipboard. Wait, hold on. It's not the second one. It's that I don't see why you would want to use a data transform for recording the results. Probably provides initial values for properties used in rule evaluation. This doesn't really make any sense to me, and this one also doesn't really make any sense to me, so yeah. You have a data page with customer data. The data page is configured to reload if it's older than 1 hour, which of the following best describes when a data page will reload. Data page reloads automatically 1 hour after last accessed. Data page reloads on the next access. Oh, okay. This one kind of threw me off when I did it, that one time. So you have a data page with customer data. The data page is configured to reload if it's older than 1 hour, which of the following best describes when a data page will reload. So, no, it doesn't automatically reload 1 hour after creation. I believe it's reloads 1 hour after creation. So it doesn't really matter when it was last accessed. It just matters when it was created. So I think it's that fourth one. Yeah. So, which of the following situations would you use a data transform? Copy data from one page to another. Reuse properties in two forms. Maybe create properties after creating the case. No. Run a flow action. No. I don't think it really matters for copying data. I think it's this one. Never mind. Um, you're not creating properties, so that's not what a data transform is all about. I don't really remember what a flow action is all about, but I mean, you don't need a data transform to make sure a flow action runs or whatnot. So that's the only thing I can think of, copying data from one page to another then. How do you customize the allowed values for a property based on the context of the property using field values? Um, I have a funny feeling, by the way, that I'm probably going to be failing this test. So just give you guys a heads up. I'm not feeling that confident right at this moment in time. Which means, hey, I'm probably not wanting to do a certification test tomorrow. So, how do you customize allowed values for the property based on the context of the property using field values? Create a base field value record and create a circumstance base record. I don't remember this. Create a field value record and a unique property record for each allowed value in each context. Create a rule set for each context and create a field value record for each value and add the field value record to the appropriate rule set. Create a field value record for each value and set the context using the apply to field. I don't remember this at all. Apparently I picked the right one. I I was kind of leaning towards that one just because of the apply to field, but I don't remember it. So, that was a guess and obviously picked the right one, but still. That was a memorization of the question there, folks. Not a great one. So you add a cascading approval step that uses the authority matrix. You specify a decision table to determine the approvers for each case. You confirm that the conditions of the decision table are configured correctly. You test the configuration by entering requests that require multiple approvers. However, the application routes all requests to only one approver. Which of the following actions should you take to correct the issue? Um, I think it's that first one. Yeah. If you want them all checked, then you need to set it to evaluate all rows. So, which two of the following options are principles of App Studio? Oh, pardon me, my nose is starting to run. So, okay, be right back. Sorry about that. Which two of the following options are principles of App Studio? Place RGB elements in default settings. Contextualize the user's needs. Begin the details to build the big picture. Add value as fast as possible. Okay. Resources application managers can create, view, and edit employee onboarding cases. Administrators have the additional ability to delete onboarding cases. How do you achieve this behavior? Um, that one. Okay. And that's wrong. You can change permissions in access groups. They tell you that. Okay. Okay. You design the decision tree you want to test. You want to verify that the system can evaluate every row regardless of input values. And you test your decision tree logic. It's either conflicts or completeness. I think it's conflicts. Yeah. You need to add a field for bank routing number in the view. Bank routing number must consist of following numbers 1 through 9, including any leading zeros, which configuration ensures that users submit a valid bank routing number. Um, let's see. Um, I forget the answer that they had for this one. Um, I think it's this first one. Yeah. Okay. Identify the 3 valid options for simulating data for unit testing during application development. Okay. Decision table, no. Report definition, I don't think so. I think it's these 3. Nope, not a connector. Okay. Yeah, I'll go with the decision table on that one. Fraud detection application get payment information. External data source checks the credit card expiration based on the credit card ID when developing Pega platform application. Which three of the following options can you use to configure the payment information data object in App Studio? Choose three. Okay. Okay. And notice how these two are the same and are similar, and these two are similar. So obviously, if you're choosing three, then that one is automatically an option for you. If they had a sixth one here with something similar to that, then you would have had to think about it a little bit more. But um, it's either one, it's either this one or that one, basically. Out of the two, you can't be both. So um, um, and then there these two are also very similar to each other. So the payment information data object does not exist. Create a new payment information data object by using the data object wizard to define a simulated source or a source data later. You want to use a simulated source, right? Apparently not. Wait, I'm marking the second one as wrong. Okay. Well, apparently my observation was incorrect. Um, so apparently both of these are correct, and that one's correct. I don't know. Move on. I can't focus on it too much. Otherwise, I fail on it. So, or I fail the quiz. So, I mean, I'm probably gonna fail it anyway. But I got 10 more minutes left. So, and I got 5 more questions left to do. So, user fails to log in an account successfully after 2 attempts. As a result, the account is locked for 8 minutes. Which configuration supports this requirement? Write the correct configuration to the lockout policies box. Okay, so 8 minutes. Um, it's this one. Because they're saying, initial authentication lockout penalty in seconds is 8, which is incorrect. You have the 8 minutes right there. So, yeah. Okay. Product return case must always show the current contact information for a customer. Case sources the correct information from the customer database to display, and a header setup. A section on each step, which are the best implement for this use case. um, you want to do that one. Never mind, barely not. What's the problem here? You're God damn it. You're not changing the information. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, moving on. Select two best practices to follow when designing mobile applications. Um, moving on. Let's just go with that one. Yeah. Mobile devices don't really show other, so that typically is no. And application preview function, it's like you only see that in typically like with App Studio or Dev Studio, it's like you don't see the preview on the actual devices, or at least that's you know my understanding of it. So, which of the two following statements are true about localization wizard? Um, is export the correspondence and paragraph rules. No, you can use the localization word. Localization flag is enabled on user interface rules. Localization wizard to change the locale, base currency, and time zone. I'm thinking it's these two. No, apparently not the fourth one. Well, it has to be that one. It's not the HTML file, so I don't feel confident in this at all, so I'm probably gonna fail it just to let you all folks know, and let's see the results. They're saying, I pass it with an 80%, and the results are, oh, hey, I passed. Rate this mission. Okay. Um, the problem that I have with the mission is that the time shown doesn't feel like it is accurate to actual reading and understanding the material. The material doesn't reinforce what you learned prior, which I really wish it did, because I'm forced to guess on subjects that were discussed once at the beginning of the mission and never discussed again. And I encountered multiple questions with wrong or unclear answers. I'm hopeful that that 23 took all of my suggestions to heart to be better. Okay, so according to this, I got 88%. And once again, they don't show me crap. I know that I've missed a lot more than that. The feedback obviously saved me in this particular case there, folks. In this particular operation, obviously there was a lot of details that that I would have gotten wrong if it wasn't for the feedback. If I had left it alone, I probably would not have passed with the 80%. Okay, first and foremost. Okay, there was a lot of questions there that I was pretty much questioning about. I wasn't 100% about. So, ideally, you know, you'd want to be coming into this quest and into the mission test, never seen these questions before, and answering them without any kind of hesitation whatsoever, getting that 100% mark, possible, right? That's ideally, but like I mentioned um, in their feedback on this, um, they don't reinforce your knowledge. Okay. Um, for example, they talk about like the three pillars of Pega. I don't remember those three pillars whatsoever, but they keep on bringing that up on occasion, you know, and I don't remember them whatsoever. And it's like, well, if these are supposed to be three pillars, something that, is referenced like all the time, then shouldn't they be referencing it throughout Pega? That's my point. It's like they don't if these are three pillars that they are using, then reference them, throughout the topics. You know, like, hey, this particular topic is referencing this one pillar, of Pega. This is all about this particular pillar and how it, works in this particular fashion. Something along those lines. It's like, just tiny little nods here and there to kind of reinforce what you previously learned. Okay. But it doesn't do that. And I feel that that's what makes it really difficult for someone like me that kind of needs that reinforcement of the material that was previously covered. Um, my memory isn't something that clicks and grabs the information, you know, once and I'm good. I need something that I can kind of sink my teeth into. I can chew over multiple times to kind of get the full understanding of what's being discussed on it, and then I can basically say, oh yeah, you're talking about this. Okay, then it's that. That kind of thing. Rules are a big, huge factor in Pega, but they don't really discuss like the nitty gritty of what they are all about, like the validate rules, the edit validate rules. These are ones that I struggle with, and it's like it shouldn't be that way. Okay, edit validate rules. These should be something that really, obviously should really get hammered into you because it's validation rules, just rules in general is pretty much everything about being a system architect. You're going to be dealing with rules all the time when you're working as a system architect. So why they're not hitting that home more is something that I feel is um, a bit problematic. Um, and once again, their mission test is not showing all the modules that are they need to fix their tests because this is bad. This isn't working properly. Okay, because believe me, debugging application errors is not the only topic that I probably failed on. I probably, I mean, as it is right there, it's like, 0 questions correct. What the fuck do you mean on this? You know, that's where it's like, okay, guys, here, I'm gonna go ahead and take this and say that, let me do a screenshot on this, send it in as a suggestion and get them to kind of try to work on this a little bit more because they need to fix that. Um, let's see. I guess I'll put it on the Pega exercise. It's actually the mission test, but it doesn't really matter. Okay. Okay. Choose the file. mission test is once again not showing all of the topics that I missed, and it isn't showing the questions presented and how many questions were missed either. So this in previous mission tests, I hope that this gets fixed. It really does need to be reprogrammed. Cement. Okay, I love the fact that the screen is not even showing like the white background or anything along those lines. So, okay, so here's where we stand on this. So first off, um, you know, they say that I got the achievement at the very end here, right? They gave me the reward for completing the mission, even though technically, because I have not completed the one. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. They they forced the completion on localizing the UI form on me. Just because I finished the mission test. Okay, so tomorrow we're gonna do this again and see if it actually works. Um, um, I don't like the fact that they forced this to be completed on me. I don't really like that. Um, that's that's a bad programming, in my opinion. Um, so we're gonna do this tomorrow. We're gonna work on this tomorrow, see if we can get it to work. If we can't get it to work, then well, I mean they've just kind of completed the challenge for me anyway, which I guess which is just bad design in my opinion. Okay, you shouldn't be forcing people like the you shouldn't necessarily be forcing this like that. So hopefully I can still even initialize a instance. Hopefully I'm assuming I can. It would be really bad for them to basically stop you from initializing an instance even after completion. You should be able to. At least I hope that's the case. Um, then after we double check this, then we're going to be going, then we'll go back to the mission test. Okay. And we'll kind of go through the mission test again and see, and we'll kind of try to go through the topics of them all and see about trying to, um, figure out like the proper answers and stuff like that. We'll kind of analyze it a little bit more. Obviously, it might say, "Hey, you're past your hour and 30 minutes, and we can't go any further than that, so you're just out of luck." But if I remember correctly, they don't they don't do a good timed test at all. If I remember correctly, it doesn't hold to the hour and 30 minutes at all. They don't have like they don't have a good timer on those tests. So, um, so we can probably do a really deep dive on the system architect mission test, go through each question, go to the actual topics of each of those questions, and really try to analyze them a little bit more. Um, we'll try to go into a deep dive on that. Then after that's all said and done, I'll write down like the ones that I have problems with, the topics that I have problems with, because there has been plenty, along the line, and along my journey on this, you know. Unfortunately, I haven't had any comments about any of my past topics or anything along those lines concerning, how to do, um, rules and rule types. Um, I had a problem at one point in time about um, there was um, like a database side of things that I wasn't really understanding very well either. Um, Not that one. I think it was like right near the very beginning of the system architect journey. I forget exactly which one it was, but I was kind of struggling on that one a little bit. I think maybe the data model. Um, yeah, I think it was the data model that I was really kind of struggling with a little bit. Um, because I think they were really kind of putting in information that sounded like it was pretty much like the same information to me every single time that I was kind of looking at it, and I wasn't really seeing a clear distinction between them. So that's why I was kind of confused about it. But never got any kind of reply. I know I never got any kind of comments on those videos. So again, if anybody's watching right now and you are like, a veteran, a manager, a um, team lead of a pagan environment team or something along those lines, then please go back through some of my old videos, and I have questions during some of them. Okay, I would really appreciate any kind of feedback that you can provide. If you're watching me right now and you have that understanding of Pega, I would really appreciate any kind of support that you can give along those lines, um, because not only are you answering my questions, but you might be helping out someone else that might be also be struggling with those particular topics as well. Okay, so it just might not be just myself that you're helping out, but it might be others as well. So please um, consider that as a way to help out the Pega community in general. Okay. I will do what I can to kind of go back through some of these topics that I've struggled with. Okay. We're going to be doing mock exams to kind of keep ourselves kind of working on the test questions. Figuring out the topics, figuring out um, trying to understand um, you know, what is, the Pega environment. Okay. We're not wanting to memorize the questions. The questions aren't going to be helpful for us. Okay. Memorizing questions aren't going to be helpful for us because the certification is going to have their own kind of questions. Now we could try to memorize the mock exams that are out there because some people have kind of, you know, copied questions that they got from the Pega exam and, put them onto the internet. there's always that possibility out there. But that's the thing. Okay, you can't rely on you seeing those questions. Okay, it's better to understand what Pega is all about than um, trying to memorize the questions and the answers. That that does no good if you're wanting to really learn, what Pega is all about, right? So um, so we're going to be kind of going into a studying for the certification mode. Okay, our our mission journey is done. We've gone through the missions for the most part. Okay, I can try to um, you know do a Pega Platform 23. Just step up into that one and start from there again. Um, but it's just going to be like a repeat of a lot of repeats of information. And I don't know if I really want to do that for you. I would prefer more of like um, more something that has more like unique information. And I don't feel like the transition from 8.7 to 23 is a large enough distinction between that. Now, obviously, there's probably going to be some changes here and there based off of the differences between the two. I mean, they're going to be changing some things. They have already done that. Um, but I don't know if it's going to be like breaking changes either. So that's why I feel like doing the 23 mission for the system architect isn't going to be helpful for me. Now, I could try to do the senior system architect, which I've heard is a good method of studying for the system architect. Um, I've heard that that's the case. It really kind of helps you like solidify like why certain things work the way they do. I'm not sure. I believe that that might be the case. So it might be in my best interest to kind of maybe take the senior system architect to try to study that and kind of really work, on my understanding of all the topics that they present on that. But they might be giving me even more information that I might not necessarily need. Well, I mean, they're definitely gonna be presenting me information that I don't necessarily need for the system architect, but it might help me in understanding, the material better. So, um, so if there's someone that might be interested in me trying to do that, then let me know. Um, but here on out is I feel is probably gonna be more towards just kind of doing mock exams and kind of doing some studies about it and stuff like that. So to kind of prep myself for the certification. Okay, and obviously, I need to make sure that my room is completely clear and ready for the certification test as well. But obviously I'll do that offline. So, but just bear in mind that, we're going to be discussing a lot, and from, here moving forward. So be prepared for that. But that's going to be it for the Pega certification study sessions for now. Uh, we're gonna uh, we're gonna move on to talking about, well, I'm gonna move on to getting some videos uploaded and stuff like that right now. But I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. Um, Check out the playlist for more concerning the Pega certification if you're here for that. Um, Obviously, I got a full playlist about the system architect. that you're welcome to go through and check out. Um, leave comments if you're you know wondering about a particular topic, or you might have answers to some of my questions. I look forward to those. Um, leave a like and subscribe. That would be fantastic. That would help me out with the YouTube algorithm. Check out the links in the description for things that help me out, help you out, and are there for like direct communications, like say, the Discord server that I have, if you're so inclined. Um, and that's going to be it for tonight. So I want to thank you all for watching. Appreciate it. Hopefully I catch you next time. But until then, take care. Have a good night. Stay healthy. Stay safe. And I'll catch you strangers next time.